Hi, it's Krista Aberzini with KNAC.com at the 2016 NAMM show, and I'm here with Marc Scarpa, who has a new Rocky series, or yeah, that's what we're going to call it.
Well, this episode is a Baku-series, a documentary, yes.
And it's called Breaking Band, and it's going to be airing this Sunday.
Well, the season premiere kicks off Sunday, January 24th, at 9:30 p.m. on AXS TV.
Fantastic. Can you tell me a little about the show? Oh, and I have to introduce, we have got Archie here from one of the participants from Santa Cruz.
Yeah. Santa Cruz, Finland, baby.
So you want to tell me a little bit about the show?
Yeah, the show is basically a show that pits musicians together to collaborate. In this case, we have mentors who are legacy artists, legendary artists. The series consists of Dave Navarro, Belinda Carlisle, Moby, Robin Zander, Mark McGrath, and with Santa Cruz, we had Sebastian Bach of Skid Row. So it was a lot of fun. The premise is basically both artists have never met before. They don't know who each other is until the day of show. And in this case, it's all about the emerging artists' experience going through their first live debut broadcast performance, which many of these artists have never been broadcast live on YouTube or the internet or television or in any way, shape, or form. They're a lot of times doing concerts in small venues, or they're doing mostly music videos. So this was a lot of fun for them to have one of their potential idols to come out and bring them through this process. Was a little bit, I think, stressful for you guys?
No, it wasn't stressful at all. It was such a fun day, man, And we had no idea what to expect because, it could have been like some nobody we had never heard of, but these guys nailed it with Sebastian, who's like my number one, idol as far as singing goes. And it was a killer day, man. I had a bunch of fun.
And so they go through their normal process of rehearsing, getting ready for the show. And behind the scenes, our mentor is in a control room, observing them on camera mostly. That he hasn't or she hasn't met them yet, listening to how they sound, how they look, how they feel. And then comes out and kind of just gives them some advice on how they can really increase their look, their style, their sound, specifically for broadcast. And they sit down and they have a conversation about musicianship. And at that point, that's when the real fun begins, because that's when the mentor learns just as much from the emerging artist as the emerging artist, we hope, learns from the mentor. I mean, you guys certainly had a lot of feedback for Sebastian as well, and he had some fun things to say.
Definitely, yeah. Sebastian was all like, fuck the industry and, shit like that, which was super cool because, he was like us pretty much, and he called us like mini versions of himself back in the day, so we just got along. Mini-me's, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, we just, we had a bunch of laughs with him, and we were on the same level totally. So that was fucking cool.
Yeah, he really enjoyed these guys a lot. He actually, we obviously want everybody to see the show, but some of the advice that he gave them was very poignant. It wasn't about their musicianship at all or their the way they look. These guys are really far along. They're a huge band in Europe. And it was a perfect match in that sense. But I think his advice was more about the brotherhood and being on the road together and how to protect your voice. You asked him that really cool question.
Yeah. I was like, because sometimes I've had problems with my voice, like all the singers, I think. And, I asked him.
At least the ones that scream.
At least the ones that scream and drink whiskey. So I asked him about that, and he was like, do not drink whiskey before the show. I was like, oh, that's a secret, That was fun.
So I guess that means after the show.
Yeah.
Celebration.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so at that point it builds. The guys then go and do a show in front of a live studio audience, and the mentor becomes is the host of the show, if you will, and that's fun for the fans. And he's then chatting in a live chat with their fans worldwide, which was a lot of, was fun for the mentor. Then it comes down to the final moment as to whether or not the mentor takes the stage to do an encore with the band. And that's all based upon the relationship they've built during the day, them rehearsing a song together earlier. If that rehearsal goes well on that collaboration cover song, then we see how things really really evolve. And you have to watch the show to see whether or not these guys collaborated together. But
So,
we certainly had a lot of fun, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
So they film it all in one day, and these guys have no idea at the end of the night if this guy's going to come out or not.
Yeah.
That's it. It's really a show within a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's really a show within a show. You have the live element of the show, which actually does happen, and then we are filming that documentary process of the live show in every aspect. And at the end of the day, that's really it. Whether or not they see eye to eye and collaborate and come on and do that big finale with one another.
Yeah, that was like the only stressful part of the show, you know, to not know if he likes our set or not. You know, and is he gonna be there with us? That was like, you know, my heartbeat was like 200 or something.
Participating in the show in general.
My biggest takeaway? What you mean?
You know, what is it that you came away with, the best piece of knowledge that you got from Sebastian?
You know, the overall experience. Just and the thing that he said was that do something that you and you and you and you to us are proud of, and that was like probably one of the most important pieces of advice I've ever gotten. You know, because you know at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Do something that you really are proud of. You know, and not doing anything for other people.
That's right.
I think that's really important.
I agree.
So what is the process of you picking up these bands, and how did you find these bands across the country and Finland?
It's a long, daunting process. First, we establish who the mentors are, and then we look for artists that will ultimately have something in common with those mentors. You know, with season 1 especially, we didn't want to have a lot of displacement. So we really were looking for bands that were influenced in some way, shape, or form by Skid Row or Sebastian Bach's solo work. And so we use data and algorithms to find that using YouTube and other social media. We've partnered with YouTube to help us, in the series we shot at the YouTube Space LA, and they were extremely helpful in this manner. Of course, going through it, there's more to it than just having a bunch of bands pop up. We have to go through each and every single one, and we were looking for stories. You know, what is the story of this band? What makes them interesting? What makes them dynamic? Where are areas that they may be lacking? Where are their strengths? Where are their weaknesses? Have they ever done a live broadcast performance in the States before? That's a big criteria. So if you've already been on Saturday Night Live or Fallon or Kimmel, we don't want you, because at that point you've already been broken, if you will. So although these guys have done a lot of stuff in Europe, they hadn't really broken America yet, and we think that as a result of our show and their hard work, they're definitely going to be here. And so watch out, America. Santa Cruz is coming in a big way, which is going to be fun. But that was really the process, is going through that. Then we send an email to management, we make contact, and we ask them and work really closely with management. Who are the band's top influences? And we usually ask for about 10 influences. And in this case, we got one response: Sebastian Bach. So we were looking at a bunch of bands, and these guys obviously were really very passionate about our mentor, and they just happened to be in the States at the time, so it all worked out.
That was perfect.
So why Sebastian Bach? Only one?
Because he's the greatest, man. He's back in like '91, you know, when they did the tour with Guns. He was the alpha male in rock and roll, the number one, you know, and still is, you know, he's still got it. So I think he's just the greatest, you know.
Well, thank you guys for coming out and visiting with us today, and I'm looking forward to the show in Santa Cruz, Finland, not California, Finland.
It's a funny way how they got the name.
Exactly, you know, California name. Yeah,
How did you get the name?
I was in the 5th grade myself, and I saw it in a map, like on a fucking geography class or something. I was like, dude, imagining myself playing a rock and roll band. I was like, that sounds dope, and that was it. I decided to have that name. When I'm a Johnny, the guitar player, the first thing I told him was like, we need to be called Santa Cruz, and he was like, oh, okay, dude, whatever. That was it.
Have you been to Santa Cruz?
Never been to Santa Cruz.
You might want to change the name. I'm just saying. It's great for you.
Some skateboarding was born there, surfing. I love it.
You're right.
Right. Should do
Surfing
it.
and skateboarding sounds like a party to me.
That's it. And beer and rockers and
Oh, fuck
chicks
yeah.
and everything.
Even more better, dude.
There you go. That's your next gig. We're going to get you booked up in Santa
Let's do
Cruz.
it, brother.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. And you have a season 2 coming up?
We hope to have a season 2 coming up. We'll know, and with support from folks like you and everyone out there on social media, #BreakingBand. Watch it on Sunday nights on AXS TV, 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. You can go to AXS TV /subscribe to find out where it will play in your local market.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys, very much. Krista Abruzzini with KNAC.com. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.